Hello, everybody. Welcome back. How are you? So good to see you. Hi, Rachelle.
Hi, Miriam. It's good to see you too. We were having an interesting discussion because I'm actually in the process of trying to figure out how I can get more out of my prayer. It's for me when I meditation and prayer were two different things, and Miriam kept telling me no, they're the same thing. I'm like, well, what do you mean? One of them is like words, and you're focusing on these words, and the other one, you're trying to like empty yourself of all thoughts. So, how do they work together? So, Miriam finally explained to me like the process of what you go through in order to really pray in a meditative way. So, Miriam, what did you tell me I have to do in order to be able to accomplish that?
So first of all, I want to say that we're living in a very redemptive time in my opinion, in my feeling. That all these Western and Eastern and Jewish understanding is all combined into one major understanding of how to connect to the divine. So, so in
Definitely.
so in Judaism, we know that we have five levels to our soul,
Hmm.
and somebody was telling me about someone that their soul is ill, and I said, no, the soul is not ill. What is ill is the less high levels of the soul, which we call Naran, which is the nefesh, ruach, and neshama, that are the levels that we're basically emotionally unhealed. But our soul is connected to the divine in the place of Yechidah,
And it's perfect.
and it's perfect, it's complete. There is no illness there.
Nope.
So, so when we have to, um, when we talk about prayer, basically, we want to connect the place of the Yechidah to the place of the Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama.
And how do we do
We
that?
want to connect the highest level place that the soul dwells in
Mm-hmm.
to the more superficial levels of our consciousness.
And how do we do that?
So, so basically, we are combined of feelings and an intellectual.
Right.
We're an intellectual existence as well as a feeling
Right.
existence or entity.
Right.
Unlike the animals, which are only feeling. Well, maybe they have some kind of an intellect. Each animal has a different level of intellect, but they can't speak, right? They hum. They have a certain language, but they can't speak words. Now we
Yes.
don't know what their language is. Maybe it's a language. Maybe it is words. Maybe the barking has words in it. I don't know. But but assumingly, as far as our research goes so far, we are uh, we're different and higher, defined by our speech capability.
Okay.
And this is what the Torah says, that we're ruach memalala. We are speech. So our meditation can not only be based on our feelings and only on transformations of how I feel,
Right.
how I perceive myself, how I experience the moment, but it also has to be a connection between my intellect and my feelings.
Okay.
So when I feel bad, I cannot just strive to feeling good. I have to strive feeling good with a realistic approach to life,
Okay.
right?
All right.
If it's imagine like somebody who's feeling really bad,
Mm-hmm.
and you come and you try to convince them to feel good because ABC. But
Right.
in their realistic world, life is really a problem now.
Right.
So it doesn't change anything in their feelings, right?
Yeah. No.
But the difference between somebody trying to convince me that life is good versus me convincing myself, auto suggesting myself that life is good,
Right.
is basically what like I can do it to myself. Nobody can do it to me. Only I can do it to myself.
Definitely.
So, and this is basically what we're doing in prayer versus what we call meditation in our modern world.
Okay.
Except our our prayer should be meditative and our meditation should be prayer.
But what I came to realize from speaking with you is that the divine is being channeled through us when we're doing our prayer.
Right,
It's not that we're just reading words,
right.
okay? And
So, what is it that we're doing with the words?
yes.
When we are reading those words, we can mumble them off, and
Mhm.
it means nothing to me because I didn't allow myself to connect to those words and let them run through me and energetically clear me, but not only energetically clear me, which maybe the breath could do, the breathing, right?
Yes.
And focusing on the divine light, you
Right.
know.
Yes.
But the words, when they're clearing me, they're also clearing my consciousness. And what they're clearing my consciousness from, unlike what some meditations guide us to do, is to empty our thoughts.
Yes, it
The
does.
words of the prayer are supposed to shift my thoughts, not clear my thoughts. So when I look at the words of the prayer, they allow me to clear my jealousy away, to clear my anger away, to clear my resentment away, to clear, when King David says, "My mother and father have left me, but God had picked me up," I think, whoa, also my mother and father left me, and I wasn't the first one. Obviously, King David is talking about it, and he survived it, and I can survive it too,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Or it says, "Yaso Islani Yaula Mavet Lo Nitanani." God had tortured me but didn't let me die. How many times we feel that way? Not every moment of life we're saying, "Hodu Lashem Kitov Kilolam Chazdo." There are moments where hopefully we're there, and sometimes we're mumbling off these moments also, Like we're saying the whole Hallel. If you look at Hallel, Hallel is a prayer of praise. Even the name of the prayer is called praise,
Right.
right? But that even that prayer is combined of joyful words and sad words,
Yeah.
right? Those two passages that I gave as an example, "Thank you, Hashem, for being so graceful," versus "You've tortured me but didn't let me die," are both in the prayer of Hallel, right? Which is the most joyful, which is recited on the most joyful moments of the day. But
Definitely.
sometimes we might say, with the same intonation, "You
Right.
have tortured me to death but have not let me die," as we say, "Thank you for having such ultimate grace upon my life." So I have to notice, how do I say it, right? If I say, "Zeh hayom asah Hashem nagila v'nismecha bo," this is the day that God had brought into my life and I should rejoice upon this day, right? Maybe not every time I say hello I really felt that way,
True.
but maybe there were moments in my life when I did feel, and did I say it in the same manner? That's the question. Did I allow it to sink in me, allow it to reflect? And even if it's not the moment when I feel like saying, "This is the day God has made upon me," right? And this is my best day of my life. But I can say it in a way, you know what? I'm yearning for that day. And it's okay to express it, to focus on that sentence in a way. Right now, maybe not so much, but I know I'm yearning for that day. I know it's around the corner. So sometimes I can say the same sentence with a feeling of joy and really experiencing, wow, I finally have this moment to rest in my life, right? Versus those moments when I want to say those words and not mumble them off because they are irrelevant to my reality now, but because I want to look at them and say them in a way that will eventually, I will feel that way.
I think we forget the divinity behind the words of the prayer.
Right,
I know we do. We forget that. And the times that we remember it is when we're brought to a state of serenity. We have this sense of something much bigger than us that does have us in their embrace.
right.
You have that sense. we forget that we're channeling divinity when we say those prayers. We're not just reading a bunch of words,
Right.
and that we are different in the morning and in every day. We're
Right.
different all day.
Right. So some people will say it's so boring to say the same prayer 3 times a day. It's only boring if you're not doing it mindfully. If you're doing it mindfully, if you're actually looking into the words and having and it's kind of like doing it's like doing a checkup with, where am I? You know, just like you go to the doctor and he checks that all your organs are in the same place, you're kind of like checking in on the prayer to see where is my soul. Like I asked someone one day in the morning, I said, "Hi, good morning, how are you?" They said, "I don't know, I haven't checked in with Hashem yet." Right? It's like, in a way, every time we go to pray, we're checking in with, like, where is my consciousness? Where is my soul? Am I remembering to notice the blessings in my life? And if it's really hard, how am I treating it? Am I treating it with utter bitterness, or am I allowing myself to see the light around the corner, the light at the end of the tunnel?
And another thing that I realize, like, I sometimes intellectualize it. So I'm thinking that, well, this particular word strikes me as being interesting now. While I'm saying my prayers, sometimes I find myself, I'll stop and something will strike me like, wow, I've been just scanning this and I haven't really read it. But that doesn't mean it's going to necessarily come to my
Hit your
heart.
heart, right?
Yes.
And the thing is with that is, instead of intellectualizing that word, we need to ask ourselves, how does it make me feel? Right? Like, what do I feel with this word? How does it strike me today? Not only today, it strikes me for Mincha, not the way it stroked me for Shachris, and it will strike me for Ma'ariv, not the way it stroked me for Shachris and Mincha, because things have happened. Things are happening. The dynamics of life, we're changing all the time. Our spirit, our mood, our right? And so then, like, we have to notice, it's like, especially when you sing the songs, right? And we had the merit to, like, learn to sing the prayer. And when you sing the prayer,
Mm-hmm.
so you can sing it always with the same tune, right?
Yeah.
So
Which we
so
do.
so it's interesting. Most of the tunes that we're singing in our prayer, it's actually the tune is relevant to the words,
Yeah.
right? Like, for example, if I say, "This is the day God has brought upon me," right, in a joyful manner, right? It's a joyful song. It's a
Yes.
joyful melody, right?
Yeah.
Because it refers to joyful moments in my life, right?
Yeah.
The words are about joyous moments, right? And if you read about, like, I don't know, um, um, like, I don't know, different words that are like different songs, they have a sadder melody to them because the words are sadder or
Yeah.
more serious, not necessarily sad, could be serious also, that it needs, more like engagement, or more focus, more going into the depth of the feeling.
Well, song also, you go past just the words. It's a flow.
Right, right. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes when we're changing the melodies,
Yeah.
right, we need to also, if we always sing the same melody to the same words, sometimes that becomes automatic
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
But if we change the melodies occasionally, then we have to also pay attention. What kind of melody do I pick to what words? Is the melody relevant to the words, right?
Yeah, definitely. How
And
many?
then if I
Yeah.
picked up that melody, maybe I might ask myself, wow, what in my soul picked up that melody to those words? What in my consciousness that I'm not picking up on put these words to this melody?
I'll have to ask you on Friday night when you're singing Lachadodi why you pick that particular melody. Because you change it, and the feeling of the song is different.
Right, right. So sometimes you just feel it in your sensations,
Yeah.
and sometimes it comes from a place, in an intellectual place. But in any case, you have to ask yourself, so what did this to me?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what in my consciousness brought me to sing this in this manner or another?
So all the mindfulness these what you're describing is really the same mindfulness practice that is becoming so popular that people are supposed to be incorporating in all facets of their life.
Right, right,
So you're now talking about incorporating it into prayer.
right.
It's really a mindfulness practice.
And I want to say something else. We talk about walking meditation, sitting meditation, and sitting down meditation. First of all, it's all exists within the Jewish prayer, because sometimes you need to stand up, and sometimes you
Yeah,
need to sit down, and
yeah.
sometimes you need to bow. I don't know, one day maybe we'll talk in details about all those movements.
Yeah.
But, but, um, but what I want to say now is that sometimes uh, maybe you're not in the right state of mind to sit down and pray, right? And you think, I'll go on a walk. Do your prayer in walking, maybe, right? If you know it by heart, if you can read while you're praying, right? If like while you're walking, right? You can do. It's not halakhically, what we're
Preferred.
supposed to do. But if you're gonna just go through the whole day because you're in a bad mood and not pray, better you pray walking. Better you walk into the forest and, or better you say a few words mindfully that will lift your soul up and connect to Hashem
Interesting.
than going through a whole day thinking, when am I going to be in the mood to pray? Or when am I going to
Right.
make this, fulfill my religious obligation? Because it's a religious, like how in English you have like this expression, right? Doing things religiously. Where does that come from? It's the idea of learning to put yourself in a routine, in a
Yeah.
structure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the halachic obligations are allowing us to live in a structure. But if the structure is constricting my soul,
Yeah. Huh?
it's not supposed to constrict my soul. It's supposed to open up my soul. So I have to
Yeah.
ask myself, how do I do my, so to speak, religious obligations? They're not even obligations. They are in a way, but only from the point of view of awe. But simultaneously with that, the Baal Shem Tov is teaching us we want to do it with love. We want to be in love with life. We want to be in love with Hashem. We want to be in love with prayer. And we have to ask ourselves, how do we do it? Not just fulfill our religious obligation, but how do I feel connected to my religious so called obligations, which are, by the way, called the mitzvot. The commandments are not only called mitzvot commandments, but they're also called advice. Because if they're only a religious obligation, I slowly detach from them because nobody likes living only in a world of obligation.
Definitely. So
We
true.
all want a world that fills up our soul. So we
Yes.
have to learn to use the religious structure
Yeah.
to fill up our soul and not empty us out. Because if we let it empty us out, we end up detaching from the divine, detaching from Hashem. We don't
Definitely.
want that result.
No. I've started getting up early in the morning, and I find that by saying the first thing I'm doing is saying my bracha, it like automatically like puts a structure to what I'm doing. And I continue, I want to say whatever, Anabakawak, do the Shema, or whatever. I kind of find that if I'm going from what I feel inside, that it just starts the whole day better.
And the other thing is, we got to do it in our language. Hebrew is great and it has hidden meanings to every word that you don't get in other languages. But if you don't understand the Hebrew, you may as well do it in your own language. You can find different parts to do them in Hebrew and learn them and to recite them in Hebrew and to learn the meaning of them so that slowly, slowly you can integrate as much as you can into your Hebrew prayer. But as long as you're not there, you're going to get spiritually and emotionally much more
Detached.
healing.
You're
No, the opposite. Much
okay.
more healing
Yeah,
from saying it in your language.
definitely. Definitely. You have to know what you're saying. You have to know what you're saying. You don't, if you don't understand what you're saying, They
Right,
can't connect.
right. Because so many people speak about spiritual healing, and it says don't talk about what's above you, right? What's above me. I don't understand what God is. I don't understand what the divine is. It's nothing that I can comprehend.
Yeah,
It's non-comprehensive to us.
right.
What can I get? I can get emotional healing. I understand what it is to talk about my consciousness. I understand what it is to talk about my emotions.
Right.
I understand what it is to talk about my physical sensations
Right.
and to combine all those. When
Right.
I do that,
Yeah.
I get my tikkun. When I do that, I do my spiritual tikkun,
Which is?
which is whatever it is. If I manage to transfer myself from jealousy to non jealousy,
Oh,
I just did a tikkun.
yes.
I don't have to go out there and look how I refine myself, how I fix myself. There's nothing broken in me. It's in the moment that I need to ask myself, I'm jealous? Let's work on it. I'm angry? Let's work on it. I'm
Definitely.
resenting someone or something
Definitely.
or a reality that happened to me, my health, my lack of money, a pain in my bones and my
Definitely.
muscles, whatever. I don't resent it. I'm grateful. Thank you, Hashem. This is what you brought into my life. Maybe I'll find a solution to my pain. Maybe I'll find a solution to my problem. But in the meantime, I'm happy just as is.
But Miriam, it's a gift to be able to stop and do that.
But this is what we're supposed to do three
I,
times, four times a day.
and and I understand that.
And more than that, not only the three times, four times a day, every time we eat, every time I go out of the toilet, right? What is the brach of the toilet? It's exactly that. I go out of the toilet and I say, and I admit that this, and I admit and I allow this energy to flow through my body, right? I connect to that energy that just flew through my body in the toilet and flows in my body on all levels
Yes.
through the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. What I'm talking about is like when not going through things mindlessly. Like if
Right.
I find that I'm feeling jealous, stop, think, where is this jealousy coming from? That's a gift to be able to stop and look at yourself and say, wow.
Sadness, anxiety, things that are emotions that people are going through now all the time.
And
Anxiety is not an illness, anxiety is an emotion. All I have to do is stand for a moment still, look it in the eyes, and say, what are you anxious about? Right? Not in a judgmental, not in a self judgmental way, but just
no,
admit I have an anxiety sensation in my body. I'm not breathing well. I'm not calm. I need to reduce the cortisol in my blood. I need to breathe. I need to put on some music. I need to look if there's something that got me upset,
yeah, oh,
right? And just shift my
definitely.
energy. That's it. That's all I have to do.
We had that discussion about my girlfriend. All she had to do was stop watching the news.
That's a very good remedy.
She had to stop watching the news and talk out her her state of mind with her
Also,
friends,
also, right?
and I'm realize that everything is from the divine, everything is going to be okay. It's like God descended upon her, but she let him in.
And you just said a big one. Talk to our friends and be listened by our friends. But imagine you don't have a friend. I had years in my when when I found Hashem, I had no friends.
I
That's
can't
how I
believe
found. That's how I found Hashem, because I had no friends. So I had to find Hashem, right?
Miriam, I
So now
can't imagine that.
you can find Hashem. I was a very lonely kid. Yeah, yeah. So when you when you're the loneliest, I mean, no, I don't want to say it that way. You can find Hashem in the loneliness, or you can find Him in the
Correct.
positive reality of your life.
Wow.
And if your friends are a little bit turning away from you, it's
Yeah.
only a better time to go and connect to Hashem. Instead of being miserable that your friends have turned against, they didn't turn against you. They're going
No.
through their own things.
Definitely.
Nobody's against you. Nobody hates you now.
No. No.
No, everybody's going through their own things. You'll, you apparently, if somebody detached from you, a close friend or a bunch of friends or
Yeah,
whatever,
that happens.
apparently we need to a little bit go inside,
Yeah.
right? Reconnect inside. When I'll reconnect inside, I will also illuminate a light that will also strike the people back into my life.
And
The
usually
same people or different people.
it usually means that you have to open up and give something. That,
Also, right?
maybe you need to invite somebody over for Shabbos, or
Right, right.
and not it
Not
also.
just ask yourself what you can get from the world,
Yeah,
but what you can give the world.
yeah,
Right,
definitely.
right.
Hmm. Wow, that was very insightful, Miriam.
So I'm glad we had this talk today.
Me too.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you had a good time, and I hope you're having a good week. And keep in touch. Send us your comments and thumbs up, and share to whoever you think will benefit from it. And have a wonderful evening. God bless you. Bye bye.
Bye.